The Church of England has, to put it mildly, a complicated history with the Catholic Church. What are some of the particular challenges of being a Catholic in the UK?
Okay, well, the Catholic Church has changed really in the sense of its place in Britain in recent years. It's far more commonplace now to be British, and indeed a former Prime Minister is now a Catholic, as well as the head of the BBC, the main broadcasting movement within Britain. So a lot of distinguished people are in fact Catholic. However, one thing that is difficult for us all as Catholics in Britain is that we can often be the target of ridicule. Britain is a very, very secular country nowadays, and people don't really quite understand religion and what it's all about. And so they can be very suspicious. And if the Catholic Church stands up and takes a moral stance, then in many ways we make ourselves kind of vulnerable. You know, we're often accused of being hypocrites when failings are exposed within the Catholic Church. So it's a difficult time, it's a challenging time, but I'd say it's also an exciting time. It's a good time to be a Catholic because of the renewed interest at the moment in religion and people's sort of desire really to find out a bit more about why it's so important for Catholics to belong to the Church.
There are efforts afoot to make it possible for members of the monarchy to marry Catholics. What can you tell us about the history behind that and what the ramifications might be?
Okay, it's quite a complicated history, really. When the Church of England, well, when the Church of England was formed with a break with Rome, Henry VIII declared himself to be the head of the Church in England. In doing so, he set up the Church of England as the established church, and in making himself the head, it meant that all his successors had to be Anglicans or members of the Church of England in order to lead the Church of England. And then historically, as that's developed, the monarchy has really become a sort of figurehead, really, for the Church of England. So it's very important for the Church of England to have a Protestant monarch. Now that's had certain ramifications for Catholics in that some feel very sort of marginalised by that. But by and large, today in Britain, most Catholics really don't give it all that much thought. You know, we're very much a part of things, and the fact that the monarchy belongs to the Church of England is kind of understood by most people. Not everyone might not agree with it, but people can understand why that's so.
From over here, it seems like British media coverage of the upcoming trip has been hostile to the Pope in particular and to Catholics in general. Is that also your impression?
Yeah, certainly. Sometimes the attacks can be a bit relentless. You know, the church we love has sometimes made mistakes, or certainly the people who are involved have erred in ways. But what does seem a bit harsh, really, is the way in which the papers, in particular, have really targeted the Catholic community and have gone for us. But at the same time, it has given us a chance as Catholics to really think about our identity and to explain our cause. One thing is, you know, we're pretty bad as Catholics in Britain at selling ourselves. We have this sort of whole evangelical side, you know, where we don't really want to trumpet our merits of good deeds before us. But the reality is, when it comes to looking after people, the Catholic Church is at the forefront in Britain, and the social teaching of Catholicism really is respected by most people right across the board here in Britain. So while we are under attack by some people, or so it seems, it does actually give us an opportunity to stand up and make our message known and to share what we believe with others in a way that's challenging and pertinent to the issues of today.
What do Catholics in the UK expect from this trip? I mean, is there much excitement or anticipation about it?
Certainly momentum is really beginning to gather now. One frustration which I think a lot of people feel is that because it's a state visit, attendance is somewhat limited. Not everyone is able to go to the pastoral events, to join the Holy Father for Mass or to hear what he has to say. There will be extensive TV coverage, but there's nothing like actually going in person. So that's a frustration that some people feel. But I think most people are united in the great joy that the Pope is coming. It's a great affirmation for the Catholics of Britain, for anyone of religion in Britain, and that, you know, someone so distinguished in the world would want to come here. And again, it's a huge thing for us that the Pope is coming at the invitation of the Queen and her government. That's the first time that's ever happened, and that's a really, really important thing for us here in Britain.
Well, what are your personal thoughts about this visit? Why do you think it's significant?
Well, I'm looking forward to the affirmation that we'll receive by a papal visit. I think the beatification of Cardinal Newman will be a good thing for the people of Britain. It will show, you know, what it is to have a saint from one of our own or a beatified person from one of our own. That would be a good thing. While it's a bit daunting being in the spotlight so much as Catholics, I think it's good that we have this opportunity to dispel a few myths that people seem to have about us, and really to show what a wonderful thing faith is, how many people are liberated by their belief in Christ, and how joyful we are that the Pope, the prophet, the leader of our church today, should want to come over and address the people of Britain and to preach the gospel here in our land.